Yes, Ambika. Tell.
Yeah, so my ma'am, this is about a loss that I faced. It's 21 years now.
Hmm.
April 2000 is when we, had this loss. It was the loss of my father-in-law,
Hmm.
one of the most lovable persons on this earth. Not that I lived a long time with him, to be honest, because we got married in 1997
Hmm.
and my father-in-law's death was in 2000. But yes, that has left a huge scar in me for sure.
Hmm.
So I thought I'll take up this topic to discuss.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess, the more lovable a person is,
Hmm.
the more difficult it is for us to overcome the problem. How much ever you tell yourself that, oh, this is the reality of life, and that the day we are born, we should be ready for death, and all those things accepted. And as you know, that I'm a person who reads Bhagavad Gita, all those things are there, but still, yes, that has been a big dent.
Exactly. So all this philosophy that we have been taught, intellectually we are able to process it, but somewhere that grief doesn't get resolved by this, because it is something that you feel and you experience, and that's why mm, you may understand that this is the reality of life, but it is still difficult to handle it.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So, Ambika, right now that you're talking to me about this, what is it that you're feeling?
I'm feeling so heavy, ma'am, in the chest. It's like, there is one huge rock in my chest, which is like sinking in.
Hmm. Hmm. Can
Uh,
you name this feeling?
I think it is a combination of couple of feelings. One is sadness.
Hmm.
The next one is, uh, feeling alone from that elderly
Hmm.
figure kind of a person.
Hmm.
And then how come such educated doctors could not save a person?
Hmm. So there's a little bit of anger also.
Yes, yes. I mean, how much ever we tell, yeah, they did their best.
Hmm.
But still, that question after a few years would pop back in.
Hmm. Hmm.
How come people could not save? And we took him to one of the best doctors available or, present in NCR at that point in time.
Hmm.
And that too, after consulting quite a few professionals, it
Hmm.
was a unanimous name that was suggested.
Hmm.
And then it's like, oh, probably, we didn't spend enough time together.
Hmm.
So these are the things that come in as a bundle.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I think sadness is the most prominent one of it, and
Hmm.
missing him.
Can you show me where in the chest you have?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just adjust my camera a little bit.
Hmm.
It is like right here.
Hmm. And you
So it
feel that
starts,
there is
yeah,
some
it
warmth.
starts from here and comes till here.
Okay, so it is traveling,
Yes.
and you said that it is like a rock.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Can you tell me what is the outline of that rock over there?
It, on the whole, it has a roundish shape, but
Hmm.
then we know that rock is not like smooth.
Hmm.
It's not bulgy, but it is heavy.
It is heavy.
Yeah, it's like solid.
Hmm. So you feel a lot of heaviness over there.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And Ambika, while you're talking to me about this feeling and this heaviness in your chest, what is it that you're thinking?
Ma'am, it is the flashes of him being in the hospital.
Hmm. The memories coming back.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that's the first thing that comes. And then eventually, because he used to be a person who would wake up very early in the morning, he followed a very disciplined life. And I also used to wake up early in the morning because after doing household work, we would go to the office around 8:39. So at 4 o'clock, both of us would be having long conversations in the morning.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he had a very particular place to stand and talk. And he would say, you continue with your work, I would keep talking. So you don't have to stop your work, just let me talk. So that's how our days used to begin. And he was the person to make tea for both of us.
So lots of memories coming back.
Yes.
And while these memories come back, what happens to this sadness over here?
So when those nice memories come back, suddenly there is a calmness. And then the moment you ask the question, those memories go away. And it's like, oh, he's not there. And again, that heaviness.
The realization that he's not there, and I'm alone, and I miss him.
Right.
That causes that heaviness again.
Yes. So much so, ma'am, that, after his last rites were done, the next day we went to Haridwar for the rituals to be completed. After we came back, I had a convulsion at night. So that was the first time I ever had a convulsion. So I thought I should let you know.
And you think that it is related to that extreme grief intense grief that you felt?
Yes, that's what the doctors have told. Because there is no history of any epilepsy or any epileptic related issues either from my father's side or my mother's side. And this happened all of a sudden. And before that, about few months, I think about 6 months before my father-in-law's passing away, I had my first miscarriage. So it was like multiple things.
That miscarriage, again, one of the
Yes.
That.
Yes.
And when you talk to me about both these things, about your miscarriage and about that epilepsy, what is it that you feel?
I just want to cry. It's like I want to empty myself. And the best way to empty is, it kind of pours out. And for me, I think the easiest way is maybe, once tears roll down, it would be faster for me.
That is your way of expressing it, releasing it, releasing that emotion. And what is it that prevents you from crying?
I feel I have cried so much over it that it's not easy for those tears to come out now. Yes, I have that lump in my throat as I talk to you. The tears would, kind of swell in my eyes, but they don't really come out so easily because it's like bahut ho chuka hai. And, it would come and it would go. I guess it is that, वो एक ट्रीटी साइन करने वाली बात जैसे लगती है फिर.
अच्छा, कैसे?
कि बुरा लगा, थोड़ा सा वो सैडनेस फील किया, you had tears in your eyes, okay, now you're okay.
So your mind says this. Your mind says, बहुत हो चुका और तुम बहुत रो चुकी और अभी तो sadness feel हो गई, अब बहुत है, अब बस करो. So that prevents you from releasing your emotions, which you so much want to do.
Yes.
So can you see that, the mind is talking to you while you are talking to me?
Yes. Now I realize that.
And where is it you said that you have the lump in throat, and where else in the body do you feel this when you talk to me about
right now I'm sweating. And this whole area, I feel like there is something that is long. वो लंबा वाला गुलाब जामुन आता है ना, ऐसा वाला feeling है, but of course not a sweet feeling.
It feels like stuck over here. इतना बड़ा पूरा throat.
It feels like
and you want to move it by crying, by.
Yes. I feel the moment the tears would roll down, that will start melting.
And when you talk about that convulsion, where do you feel something in your body?
It is a fear I have. When I talk about convulsion, there is a big fear. So
where in the body is it?
It is here, ma'am. Both the sides. It's not a pain, but like feeling hota hai na. That's how I feel here. Not in the stomach. which we normally feel in our stomach and chest, I feel here.
Hmm. 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 And Ambika, one is this mind saying that bahut ho chuka is one of the things that prevents you from releasing your emotions. What are the other things that you have done till now not to, experience this emotion or to keep it away or keep it behind you?
So,
For all
ma'am,
the three things that
yeah,
we talked.
so, ma'am, what I do is, one, I avoid talking about it at all.
Hmm. Hmm.
Two, if at all I talk to people who know to change the topic.
Hmm. 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 So
So,
avoiding and distracting.
yes, or when I feel the urge to talk about it, I wrap it in such a way that for me, I have spoken, but सामने वाला कोई सवाल ना पूछे मेरे से.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It's like saying, oh, these things keep happening. It is so sad. We all have to go through. I also have gone through, and then the topic would change.
ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं बात हो.
हाँ.
Okay. And Ambika, by doing all these things, like practicing these strategies, um, has the grief actually resolved and by
No, ma'am.
avoiding and distracting yourself?
No, it's not resolved. It's just a stopgap arrangement
Hmm.
because I keep thinking this to myself over and not over and over, once in a while. It's like at the end of the day, the person who's not there, he's being missed.
Hmm.
Or, whatever miscarriage happened, yes, I did go through it. And it was not an easy time for anybody in the family. Not just me, my husband, my parents, everybody.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it was not at all an easy time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So at times, yes, I sit alone and cry. That is there for sure.
Hmm.
So again, I try to avoid thinking of it when I'm alone.
Hmm. 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 So that I should not get in the mood of sadness and I should not
Yes.
start crying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because over and over, what I keep telling myself is, whatever I do, the person will not come back.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's of no much use that I sit and cry.
That's the mind talking again. See,
Yes.
the mind is telling you that there's no use. The person is not going to come back. So why are you crying? Stop crying. Stop releasing. So there is this feeling that is there, but there is the mind talking to you that it's useless. Why are you indulging into that?
It's like shaking me up and telling, soch le theek se, kind of a thing, no?
So it is trying to tell you that this feeling is somehow not valid anymore.
Yes.
It is not useful anymore.
Right. So
and you have seen that, with all the things that you have tried, with all the strategies you have tried till now, the feeling has not gone away.
No.
It is not resolved. So let me do a small experiment with you to see how we are dealing with it till now.
Yes.
So just stretch your hands and imagine that you're holding a paper in your hand.
Okay.
And this paper represents your feelings of sadness for your miscarriage, for your father-in-law's passing away, and also for the first conversion that you had, the fear and the anxiety related to it. And now, with all your might, just try to push it away. Push it. Push it away. What happens as you try to do that? Go away. These feelings are not valid. I don't want to feel them. I don't want to release them. They are of no use anymore.
It is trying to come back, ma'am.
They're trying to come back. As you push them away, they try to come back. Just like a beach ball, when you push it in the water, it tries to come back.
Correct.
And what happens to your hands when you do this?
My hands are like trembling because I'm using all my might, and the area where the elbow is, that area is like rock solid. And
and it started paining and it started straining. Yes. So now just release a little, relax a little. Okay. Relax a little.
Okay.
Halfway, relax, allow yourself to relax a little. Now what does it feel like?
Now it's like those feelings are there. but not so connected to me.
Hmm.
They're there. Yes, I can see them.
Hmm.
It's there for sure,
Hmm.
but not like coming to get stuck to me.
Hmm. But your hands are still bound to them. And so you cannot use your hands right now. If you want to cook or if you want to drive, your hands are not free to do any other work,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So let us put this paper gently in your lap. Put it in your lap and
Yes.
free your hands. Let them rest in the lap and free your hands. Okay?
Okay.
And as your feelings are sitting there in your lap, let us discuss something else.
Okay.
So about your father-in-law, you said that, he used to wake up early and you used to have long conversations with him. And he was a very disciplined person. He had a routine for himself and used to make tea for you. So if I ask you, what are the values that he stood for in his life?
Ma'am, he believed in punctuality a lot.
Hmm.
And he was one person who would try to do whatever he could
Hmm.
and not speak about it.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
He would do very little things
Hmm.
and then not speak about it. And simple things like um, like upma. That's one of the simplest things that we all can make as a snack. But the way he would praise that upma would be like, my God, I don't know what I made. So he could like praise it to the sky and back. And at any point in time, if I asked him, has this particular dish come out well? Because he enjoyed eating, he would eat in very less quantity, but he thoroughly enjoyed what he ate. He savored them. So he had this very typical way of saying, as far as you chop the vegetables in a form and shape that will get into my mouth, everything is tasty for me. So when you make it, it becomes doubly tasty.
So he had this value of appreciating others.
Yes, yes.
Appreciating the efforts and not speaking about his own efforts. So let us say it is humility.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
He was a humble soul.
Totally. And it was just that if I told him I'm not feeling too well, the entire day's work would be done by him. I would not be disturbed at all. So he would like take it upon himself.
So he's very supportive.
Very supportive, yes.
Supportive and cooperative.
Yes.
And Ambika, if I ask you, what are the values that you stand for in your own life?
In my own life, ma'am, truth, of course. And yes, give whatever you can give to the world and as much as you can give.
So and generosity, maybe?
Yes. And help people whenever you can. I'm not saying that, put yourself through a big problem or something, but whenever you can, be there to tell people I'm here to help you. And I'll help you the way I can.
So, Amsa, yes, you and your father-in-law both lived for a set of values. He lived for a set of values, and you are also living your life for a set of values. Are there any values that you think you share with him, are common, or which you would like to adopt from him?
Ma'am, his disciplined life is something that I would really like to adopt. I'm a little bit disciplined, but not as disciplined as him. So, when he would have breakfast, we did not have to look at the clock. It would be exact 8 a.m. in the morning. If he sat for lunch, it would be 1 p.m. for sure. There is no way it would be 1 minute up or down.
So that disciplined he was. That much he valued punctuality in his life.
Yes.
So, Ambika, in service of the values that he lived for, and in service for the values that you live for, living a meaningful life, living a fuller and richer life, what are the things that you think you need to do, or you can do, or you wish to do while your feelings are sitting there in your lap. We are not struggling with them. We are not pushing them. We are not, challenging them. We are not confronting them. We are not doing anything. We are just making room for your feelings, making room for your father-in-law to be there in your life, integrated in your life, making room for his values, what he stood for in your life, and not pushing them away, rather accepting them, welcoming them, adapting them, and maybe sharing those values, adding those values with your own values.
So, ma'am, there is a set of feelings on my lap in the form of that paper. So we're talking about those feelings.
While we are not doing anything to those feelings, we are letting them be there. The sadness, the fear, everything that you felt a moment ago, we are not doing anything. We are now talking about the values.
Okay. So, ma'am, as I said, the first one would be, yes, I would like to get more disciplined in life. Because I feel that if I get into that routine, maybe not as much as Papa, which is fine, because we are all individuals. But at least getting into some kind of a discipline will help me incorporate many things that I wish to incorporate in my own life. So that is one.
So how would you go about doing it? क्योंकि अब देखो फीलिंग्स से आप स्ट्रगल नहीं करो, फीलिंग्स तो आपने रख ली ना, अब करने के लिए आपके हाथ फ्री है और आपको ये भी पता है कि कौन से वैल्यूज के लिए हम काम कर रहे हैं, व्हाट आर वी लिविंग फॉर. सो यू सेड आई वांट टू लिव फॉर make my life more disciplined. So what is it that I will be able to do now? So we are now talking about action. We are not neither talking about the thoughts nor the feelings. We are only talking about the action.
I think, ma'am, like, off late, my routine has gone like haywire. So I think I'll get back into my routine.
What are the small steps that you think you will take to do that?
I think I can start with going to bed in time.
And is that going to be easy for you?
It is not very difficult, even though it is not easy. It is because of my vices that I'm sleeping late. I know that to an extent. Because that is the time when some of my friends are awake and we are busy talking to each other. And now with
what can you exactly do about this?
So, ma'am, I can always tell my friends that, instead of talking at night, we'll talk in the morning. Because they are in the other side of the planet. So any which way, the time difference would always be there. So the night for us is morning.
And as you say this, will you be having any barriers? Will you be feeling awkward or something?
No, ma'am, they are very close. I'm fine to tell.
You will be able to say that.
It's
when
like,
do you plan to say this to them?
Probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Because आज एक दिन let me indulge in my vice.
Okay. So Ambika, when you sleep on time tomorrow, will it be in the service of that memory of your father-in-law?
Surely, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. And will this allow him to be in your life rather than not being in your life?
Yes, for sure.
हम लोग क्या सोचते हैं ना कि not thinking about them is healthy, but rather if we can, look at their values, it is we who can make them survive in our lives. कोई भी grief लेकर आता है तो हमेशा ये कहता है कि मैं भूलना चाहता हूँ या मेरे पेन को रिड्यूस कर दो, या मैं ये मेमोरीज मुझे ना आए, ये फ्लैशबैक्स मुझे ना आए. पर हम ही तो हैं जिनके मन में, जिनके जीवन में वो हमेशा जिंदा रह सकते हैं. In the form of their values for which they stood for. If we can share some of those values in their memory, maybe we can keep them alive. Right?
Yes.
So maybe when you start sleeping on time, start waking up on time, start having a disciplined life, he's living through you, through your discipline.
Yes, ma'am. I had never thought on these lines.
So when I say this, what is it that you're feeling?
I'm feeling relieved here.
In the chest?
Yes, I mean the chest, yes. And I'm feeling as if, there is some answer that I'm getting. I just need to work on those answers to, get more of them for enhancing my own thoughts. It's like, oh, the tip of the thread to mil gaya abhi. So up to wo ball, I can open the ball slowly, but yes.
Yes. And for the sadness, the sadness that you're feeling, can you feel it once again and tell me where is it now and what is it doing? Is it still moving?
Yeah. So no, ma'am. First it was from here to here. Now it is just here a little bit. And
has the shape of or the size changed?
Yes, that it is not that solid rock. It has become like a small pebble, which is not very heavy.
And we're not asking it to go away anywhere. We are not struggling with it. We are not doing anything to it, right? We are saying that the sadness is going to be there. It is bound to be there because we have lost some such person in our lives.
Yes.
Right, which we miss. So it's been 21 years and you still miss him so much. And that's a testimony to the fact that you loved him so much. Yes. Even after being a daughter-in-law, not his born daughter. And still you have this memory in your heart. So that speaks volumes about your own connection and bond with your father. Right?
Yes.
And Ambika, as you go through this, I also want you to be able to take care of yourself. Yeah. So let us do one more little exercise before we wind up the session.
Okay.
So show me your hand, your right hand. So now you're this right hand. You have done lots of things for others.
Yes.
One of your values is helping others. You have done so many things for your son, for your husband, for your clients, for your friends. So what are those feelings with which you have done so many things? Can you look at your hand and remember, recollect?
Yes, ma'am. When I think of my son and my husband or any family member, it is pure affection and love.
Affection, love.
And when I think about clients, it is kindness and compassion.
Kindness, compassion. So, Ambika, now let this right hand represent all the affection and kindness and compassion and love that you have felt for others. Feel that in this hand. And now slowly and gently take this kindness, compassion, love, and affection and place it on your sadness. Give a lot of kindness, love, compassion to yourself, to your own feelings of sadness, like you have always given others. Feel it in your chest. The love, the affection, the kindness, the compassion. Hold your hand there, slightly, gently moving over your chest. And finally, the tears have rolled down. And yourself, care for yourself. Just like you care for your own son, the affection, the kindness that you feel towards him and your own clients, feel them for yourself. And now what happens to your sadness which was there?
The place has become like empty. Pebble has become a part of me. And that area is very serene. It's like there is tranquility there.
Will you be able to do this after the session as well? Whenever you feel heaviness in your chest, just look at your hand and place it there.
Yes, ma'am.
All the kindness and compassion.
Yes, like my hand, my palm is warm, really warm. Yes. It's really feeling nice in the chest now. In fact, that lump in the throat also kind of got taken care of on its own.
You can do this with the right hand on your throat also. Kindness and compassion, love, affection, and caring.
It's a very nice feeling. It's like something is getting absorbed.
And in spite of your mind telling that, these feelings are not valid, or these feelings are, useless, or you don't have to grieve, you don't have to cry, you can allow yourself to do it. You can keep the mind telling you, and still you can allow yourself to feel it.
I think it was really great looking at the palm and feeling all those feelings that I have for others. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Ambika. And I think that the thing that you can do now is think more about the values that you stand for, your father-in-law stands for, and the values that both of you share, or the values that you would like to adopt from him. And what are the actions that you want to do with your hands to make him, still alive, very much alive in your life?
Sure, I'll do that. I think probably I'll make a list of them.
Yes.
And then get down to doing it.
Yes. And very small steps. Don't start on a bigger thing which frightens you or which is very difficult. Start on small scale. So like if you say that tomorrow I'll be telling my friends that we'll change the time of our conversation. How likely are you going to do it on a scale of 0 to 10?
I'm 10. I'm going to tell them.
Great. So that's it, Ambika. Thank you so much for being such a sport today. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you.